Ever get the feeling that some historical figures just radiate something different, like a different kind of energy?
Yeah.
Marie Curie, for me, she's definitely one of those.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, the name, the Nobel Prizes, everyone's heard it all before.
Right.
But I think it's the sheer force of her story.
Yeah.
That's what really pulls you in.
Yeah, yeah.
That mix of pure intelligence and this relentless drive
Mm.
and a spirit that, well, it just refused to be held back.
Mm.
So today, we're going to really try to unpack that,
Okay.
delve into what made her tick. It's not just a story about scientific breakthroughs, right?
Right.
It's about a human being pushing against every limit imaginable.
Yeah, and when you look at Marie Curie's life, I mean, you really are witnessing something exceptional.
Yeah,
I think what's fascinating right from the beginning is just how many obstacles she faced.
I know, right?
And simply because she was a woman
Yeah.
who wanted to, be in the world of science.
Pursue science, yeah.
And this wasn't, like an easy path.
No,
It was a vertical climb.
it really was. So let's set the scene a little bit. Maria Sklodowska,
Uh-huh.
born in Warsaw, 1867. Now, think about that for a second. This is Poland under Russian rule.
Wow.
Not exactly a welcoming environment
No.
for, women intellectuals to flourish.
Not at all. And in fact, access to formal education for women was extremely limited.
Right.
And this is where you get this fascinating thing, the Flying University.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so it was this underground network, and it operated like completely in secret
Secret.
just to provide some educational opportunities.
It's amazing.
It's almost like something out of like a spy thriller or something.
I know.
This hidden pursuit of knowledge, and I think it really highlights how much Maria craved learning, even from a young age.
It really does. Can you imagine the courage
Yeah.
and commitment it must have taken to seek an education like that?
Yeah, totally.
And then, in 1891, she makes this huge leap, moves to Paris,
Wow.
enrolls at the Sorbonne. Now, we might picture this romantic student life,
Yeah, yeah.
but think about the reality. I mean, she was dealing with poverty,
Oh, yeah.
a brand new language, an entirely different culture,
Yeah.
and all while trying to keep up with incredibly demanding academic work.
And it's remarkable not just that she survived all of that,
Right.
but that she thrived in that environment.
She did.
I mean, she earned degrees in both physics and mathematics, graduated top of her class.
Top of her class, yeah.
I mean, think about that.
It's incredible.
The sheer brain power it takes to not only learn in a new language and culture, but to excel like that.
Totally.
It wasn't just talent, it was almost superhuman focus.
Right.
And it had to be fueled by this just unyielding hunger for knowledge.
Yeah. And then enter Pierre Curie, fellow scientist, of course,
Yes.
but also someone who recognized her brilliance
Yes.
without any of the biases that were so common back then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy to forget how unusual and frankly vital his support was.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, for a woman at that time with such huge research ambitions,
Yeah, for sure.
it wasn't just a given,
It wasn't.
He actively chose to champion her intellect
Yes.
in a world that honestly often tried to suppress it.
Uh-huh.
So their marriage in 1895, it wasn't just a personal bond.
No.
It really laid the foundation for this legendary scientific partnership.
Exactly. When they met in 1894,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like a personal connection. It was like this catalytic moment for science.
It really was.
Yeah.
And it's this partnership that leads us right into her most groundbreaking work,
Yes.
radioactivity.
Radioactivity, yeah.
So Becquerel, he'd made some initial observations with uranium salts.
Uh-huh.
And Marie, she just dives headfirst into this totally mysterious phenomenon.
Yeah,
And it's Marie who coins the term radioactivity.
that's right. It was Marie.
Yeah.
It's a key point because she wasn't just passively observing. She was actively shaping a brand new scientific field.
Totally.
And what I find fascinating is that she systematically investigated all sorts of elements.
Yeah.
She didn't just limit herself to uranium.
Right, right.
And, we have to talk about their working conditions.
Yeah, it was rough.
I mean, their lab was incredibly basic.
Basic, yeah. Rudimentary equipment, hardly any ventilation.
It's not the pristine high-tech labs that we imagine today.
Not at all. It's amazing they got anything done.
I know, right?
So then they start examining pitchblende,
Okay.
which is this uranium-rich ore.
Right.
And here's where things get really, really interesting.
Okay.
They noticed it was emitting way more radiation
Mhm.
than could be explained by just the uranium content alone.
Wow.
That must have been a huge jolt. It was like a genuine scientific puzzle appearing right in front of them.
Absolutely. I mean, that discrepancy, that was the key. It
Yeah.
was like a signal flaring,
Yeah.
saying, hey, there's something else here.
Right.
Something way more radioactive than uranium.
Right.
So what happens next is an amazing scientific detective story.
I love it.
It involves them meticulously processing tons and tons of pitchblende
It's crazy.
just to isolate these unknown elements.
It's unbelievable. And they actually succeeded.
They did. In 1898, they announced the discovery of polonium,
Polonium.
which she named after her homeland, Poland.
Of course.
A very personal tribute to her roots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, just months later, radium.
Radium.
I mean, to discover not one, but two completely new elements
I know.
in such a short span of time,
It's mind-blowing.
it's almost unbelievable.
And you mentioned the physical effort. I mean, processing tons of ore,
Yeah.
laborious chemical separations,
Yeah.
just to get these tiny, tiny amounts of radium.
Tiny amounts.
It's a testament to their dedication.
It really is. I mean, it speaks to their complete and utter commitment.
Yeah.
You know, they had this conviction that something extraordinary was hidden in that ore.
They had faith.
And so this leads us to the Nobel Prizes.
Okay.
So Marie's 1903 Nobel Prize in Physics, which she shared with Pierre and Becquerel,
Right.
it was monumental.
Huge.
She became the first woman to ever receive this honor.
It's hard to overstate how big that was.
Huge. But, and this is important, it wasn't some straightforward, easy recognition.
Wow.
There was actually a lot of resistance
Oh, yeah.
within the scientific community to acknowledging Ullmann's contributions at that level.
That's hard to imagine now, but
I know.
it took Pierre really pushing for her to be included
He did.
to make sure she got the recognition she deserved.
Yeah, he insisted.
Yeah, it really highlights, the constant prejudices she had to overcome.
And then, tragically, Pierre dies in 1906.
A terrible loss.
A huge loss. And, Marie, she not only continued her research,
did?
but she took over his professorship at the Sorbonne.
Wow.
Think about what that meant.
Yeah.
She was the first female professor at the University of Paris.
It's just incredible.
Another barrier completely shattered through her skill and perseverance.
It's remarkable.
And then on top of all of that, in 1911, she wins a second Nobel Prize.
Get out.
This time in chemistry.
Wow.
All on her own.
Wow.
For the discovery of polonium, radium, and the isolation of radium.
Unbelievable.
It's unprecedented. And to this day, she's the only person to ever win Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields.
I mean, what can you even say to that?
I know.
It's unbelievable.
It really cements her as this truly singular figure in scientific history.
It does. It's not just about the discoveries. It's about how she achieved them
Right.
against all odds.
The sheer tenacity and brilliance.
Yeah. But her influence, it goes way beyond the lab, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah.
When World War I breaks out,
Hmm.
Marie Curie, ever the practical scientist,
Yeah.
responds in this really remarkable way.
Yeah, this is where we see her taking her scientific knowledge and using it to directly address a very real human need.
Yeah.
The little Curies, these mobile radiology units, were her brainchild.
Amazing.
I mean, imagine being able to bring X-ray technology to the battlefield,
Yeah.
to the wounded.
Right to the front lines.
Yeah, and it allowed surgeons to locate shrapnel, plan treatments more effectively.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. And she didn't just design them.
No?
She personally trained medical personnel to operate the X-ray equipment.
Wow.
And a lot of those personnel were women, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And she even drove these units herself into active war zones.
She was fearless.
That's a level of commitment and personal risk
I know.
that goes way beyond what you'd expect from a scientist.
Yeah. And we can't forget her decision not to patent the radium isolation process.
Oh, absolutely.
In a time when, profiting from scientific discoveries was pretty common.
Yeah, it was expected.
She chose to openly share her knowledge
She do.
for the benefit of humanity.
Yes.
That really says something about her values.
It does. It speaks volumes about what motivated her.
It really does. And her legacy is still alive today. I mean, look at the Radium Institute in Paris.
The Curie Institute.
Yeah, the Curie Institute,
Yeah,
a leading center for research into radioactivity and cancer treatment.
that's right. And her daughter, Irene Joliot-Curie, also went on to win a Nobel Prize,
Amazing.
continuing that incredible scientific lineage.
Yeah, there's something kind of, almost unsettling about her story too, though. Her death in 1934 from a plastic anemia.
Right.
It's almost certainly linked to her long-term exposure to radiation.
It is.
It's this tragic reminder that, pioneers often face hidden dangers.
They do.
Yeah.
Especially when they're venturing into the unknown.
Yeah. It's a deeply ironic tragedy, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, here she is unlocking these secrets of radioactivity.
Yeah.
This fundamental force of nature.
Yeah.
But without fully understanding how dangerous it was.
Right.
She handled these incredibly potent materials without any of the safeguards we have today.
It's true.
It adds this layer of sadness
It does.
to her groundbreaking achievement.
But when you step back
Yeah.
and consider her life's work,
Yeah.
her achievements really did reshape how we understand the physical world.
They did.
And beyond just the science.
Yeah.
She broke down so many barriers for women in science.
So many.
It wasn't about fame for her,
No.
but her dedication to discovery.
Yeah.
It inherently challenged and eventually changed the norms of her time.
It really did. And the recognition she still receives.
Yeah.
All the institutions named after her.
So many.
The honors.
Yeah.
Her entombment in the Pantheon in Paris.
Yeah.
It shows the lasting impact of her work.
It does.
And she was the first woman honored there on her own merits.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
we're left with this powerful story of a woman
Yeah.
whose life was defined by an incredible thirst for knowledge,
Absolutely.
resilience in the face of huge obstacles, and this unwavering commitment to scientific truth.
Yes.
Marie Curie, she dared to ask big questions
She did.
and then pursued the answers
Yeah.
with this relentless determination.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that ultimately changed our understanding of the universe.
It did. It's true.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Even the most transformative discoveries can have hidden costs,
Yeah.
unforeseen consequences.
They can.
Marie Curie's work opened up these incredible possibilities in medicine
It did.
and in our understanding of matter itself.
Yeah.
But it also exposed her to these dangers that, at the time, nobody really understood.
It's true.
So it makes you wonder, what advancements today seem miraculous now,
Yeah.
but might have unforeseen consequences down the road?
Right.
And do we have the responsibility to explore those potential complexities, with the same kind of rigor
Yeah.
and dedication
Yeah.
that Marie Curie brought to her own groundbreaking work?
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Food for thought.